Hi everybody, this is Peter. It's a rainy day here in Eastern Ontario, so it looks like a good day for a round of golf. So today I'm going to be looking at Inside the Cup Golf from Inside Sports Games. The game came out in 2018, and if you read a little blurb on their website about it, he said it was the developer said it's sort of a spin-off of the old Avalon Hill Pro Golf game. So if you're familiar with that, you should be. This should look. It should be pretty easy for you to pick up. I've never played the Avalon Hill game, so or I played it once many years ago, and I can't remember what it was like. But anyway, um, so the game comes with well, it comes with your game parts, which are the rules and some charts, and but most of the action here is on the. This is an example of a hole card, and I'll go into that in more detail later. And these are the golfer cards, and I'll go into that detail later too. And so the game comes with three modes of play. You can play round by round, where you just roll. Golfer has a rating, and then you roll on a chart and get just a one roll to get the score for the round. It also has a hole by hole mode, where you just basically the same thing, where you just roll once to get a score for the hole. And then there's the shot by shot mode, and this is where you're going to be using these hole cards. So I guess I'll just get right into some sample of play here. Yeah, you're going to need four dice, black D20, white D20, black D10, and it says a yellow D10, but I don't have a yellow, so that's the closest I've got to that. So, yeah, and the game's available as a printed form or a PDF, ebook form where you print it yourself. And there's also a computer version, Windows PC version, and that's probably a direct port of the board game, as with the other Inside Sports games. If you want to look at, I know that Higher Ground Gaming has put out a video of the computer game, so you can go and check out their video of that. And I know that a couple of other guys, Idjester and Stratomatic Delaware, they played a round by Skype, it looks like, with the game. And that was a playthrough, and but I thought I'd just explain more about how to play the game. But I'll play a whole round. It takes about 30 minutes to play a round in the in the shot by shot mode with two golfers. 30 to 40 minutes, and yeah, and playing a hole by hole takes about 10 minutes for a round of golf with two golfers. And so anyway, okay, so for the round by round engine, the course comes with this sheet here with the hole and the par and the yards and the rank in terms of difficulty and average. And basically for the round by round, you're just looking at this adjust rating here, which is +2. So basically, since it's a par 72, you're already starting with sort of like a par of 74. And then what you do is you look on the golfer's cards, and at the top here they have two ratings. So actually I use Adam Scott. Two ratings at the top here. He's got a cut rating, which you would use for the first two rounds, and a weekend rating you use for the final two rounds. See, Adam Scott has a B for both, and then, for example, you have Chris Kirk here is a D plus on the first two rounds, and a C plus on the final two rounds. So, and then we just look at this round by round chart, and we roll a D20. So for Adam Scott, he's got a B, and we go down to 14, and it says -2. So you take 2 off the base score of 74, and so Scott would get a 72 for the round. Chris Kirk, he's a D plus, and we roll a 9, and that's a +1. So Kirk would shoot a 75 from that round. So that's as quick as it goes. You know, if you want to do a whole tournament with a full field of golfers, you know, it'll take you a little while to do that. It might take you about an hour or half an hour to an hour to go through all the golfers round by round. So you could play, you know, first 3 rounds round by round, and the last round you could do some hole by hole and shot by shot. Yeah, so that's what that is. So for hole by hole, we'll just take a look at the golfer's card here. So for the hole by hole, you're just going to be looking at this section up here, up in the top right, where it says, you know, 3, 4, and 5 for par 3, 4, and 5, and these are the dice rolls here from a 1 to 20. So for say that at Augusta, the first hole is a par 4. So Scott, we roll a 20, and that would be -2. Just a minute, I might have done this incorrectly. It's been a little while since I played it. Oh yeah, so you roll the white d20 as well. White d20 is 15, and that's -1. And what you're doing is, so 15 falls in this 13 to 16 range, and -1. So that's what you would adjust the black d20 by. And so since I rolled a 20, the black, well, actually it's just off the screen here. I'll just move it down so you can see. The black d20 would be adjusted down to a 19. And then you multiply that by 10, and you roll a 2. You also roll a d10, so you get a range that goes from 10 to 209. So that instead of being 202, the adjustment would be -1 from the black die, so it'd be 192. And then you would look on here, and this is the first hole, and the range starts from 0 to 22. It gets a birdie. 23 to 139 is a par. 140 to 199 is a bogey. 200 to 207 is a double bogey, and higher than that, I guess other would probably be a triple bogey or worse. So in this case, you roll 192, so that falls in the bogey range. So Scott would get a bogey on that hole. And I'll just run through another hole here, just for an example. Let's say the par 5 second hole. Okay, the white is a 20. White is a 20 on a par 5, so it's a -2 adjustment. So the black is a 5, so that becomes a 3. And you multiply that by 10 is 30, plus black d10 is 7, so 37 falls in this range, so he would get a birdie on that hole. And that's just how quick the hole by hole mode works. So yeah, so for the shot by shot mode, you're going to be looking at the rest of the card here. Up here you have the drive sort of matrix, and you should be looking at that on your tee shots for par 4s and par 5s. And then this section down here is for approach shots. So fairway wood, long iron, mid iron, short iron, pitching wedge. This number here is what's called the go rating. So I'll show you that when we get to a par 5 hole. Whether you can decide whether to go for it. You can either decide yourself, or you can use this rating to decide for you. And this shows you a miss number, and I'll get into that. And then this is just a range of how far they are from the hole when you get on the green, when you hit the green. And then this here is a recovery rating that's going to modify one of the dice rolls, and this is a recovery proximity rating, which is used when a shot is made on the green from the that's not from the fairway. And this is like a chip chart and a sand chart, and this is the putting chart at the bottom. Yeah, so this is the 2016 card for Adam Scott, and yeah, and then we have here the hole cards. So basically, this is just sort of like a little overhead map of the hole with the green here. So you read it from bottom to top. So this is the T here, and this little box tells you which club you're going to be using. It's mostly going to be driver on par 4s and par 5s, but just for an example here, on the fourth hole, like a par 3, you're going to be using a fairway wood. That's a 240-yard par 3. Others holes might say mid-iron or long iron or something like that. Okay, so yeah, you read it from bottom to top, and then basically you're going to roll a die that will tell you what the distance is. So it's going to be A, B, C, D, or F. And then a 1 to 20 die is going to tell you whether it's for the direction, whether it's in the middle or left or right. And then these other sub things are be another die saying where in the left part. For instance, in this here, if you roll a 0 on one die, it's going to be in the trees, and then it's going to be a pitch out. And 1 to 4 is in the trees, and then the next club is going to be a long iron. And then the 5 to 9, it's in the rough. So, and then around the green, you have here the green here, and then if you depending on where what the approach shot is like, it can be just sort of basically off, in which you would look at this outer sort of circle around here to see where the ball ends up. The ATG stands for around the green, and that shows you if they're closer to the green. And then the fringe is just a separate dice roll. You would just put your indicator up here. So yeah, I use just these colored pawns to show where the golfer is on the hole at the time. So I have to keep track of that. So I'm just going to get going here. And we'll play around here between Chris Kirk and Adam Scott. By the way, right now there's 4 seasons available. 2006, and then 2016, 2017, 2018, and I have the 2016 set, and you get 185 golfers. So that's more than enough to get a full field of golfers. And at the moment, there's only 3 courses available: Augusta National, Pebble Beach, and TPC at Sawgrass. But I understand there's going to be more courses coming. Anyway, so let's get going here. Okay, Chris Kirk's going to be teeing off first. And, okay, so the black die, okay, so what you would look at, you roll a 4 die. So the black die will give you the distance. So you read black die is 1, and that's an F. So it's a very short drive. The white die, you look for the direction, and that's a 14. So you look at this chart here, so left and mid. So that means that a roll of 1 to 3 is left. From 4 to 17, it's in the middle. And from 18 to 20, it's going to be right. So white die is 14, and the distance is F. So I'm just going to mark an F in the middle. So I put the pawn there. Okay, so we're going to roll for Adam Scott now. And we get a black 10 and a white 14. So the black 10 is a B, and 14 falls between under the mid number. So he's a B, so much longer drive for Adam Scott. So Kirk is going to be away. So now on the hole card, you notice that his F, it says LI -1. That means he's going to he uses a long iron for his next shot, and -1 is the adjustment to the black D20 roll. It's going to range from -2 to +2, I believe it is. Yeah, because you see here fairway wood -2. Okay, so yeah, Scott was up in the no, he was in the B, right? Okay, so long iron -1. And so we roll. Okay, the black is a 2, so we're going to subtract 1 from that and get 1. So for the approach shots, you're going to be looking in this area here. So the long iron, so the first number that you look at is this miss number. So in order for a golfer to hit the green, the adjusted black D20 has to be above this miss number. And you can see it's different for depending on what club is going to use. So it's a, pitching wedge, of course, much greater chance of hitting the green than, say, a fairway would. So it's long iron -1, and the black D20 was a 2, and the adjusted value is 1. So this is considered a miss. So what you do next is you look at the white D20, which is a 10, and you see where it falls in here. So off means the outer circle. So 1 to 8 is off. A 9 to 18 is around the green, and 19 and 20 means he's on the fringe. So we got a 10, so it means he's around the green. So we look at the black D10, and I think you can see that. Okay, yep, 7. So we look around the green, and we look for the 7. So this is around the green here, so it's front center. And then we look at the other D10, which is a 3, and we see it corresponds to fairway. So Chris Kirk is in the fairway, and CH means he's got a chip shot to get onto the green. Okay, so now we go to Adam Scott, and he's going to be using a mid iron and -1. So the D20, the black D20 is a 12, so that's -1 is 11. And it's a mid iron, so that 11 is above 5, so he's on the green. So then we use the white D20 is a 9, and then we go down this column here, the mid iron column, until we get to the row that's where the D20 roll is less than the number in the column here. So 9 falls between 8 and 11, or like less than 11, so he's 16 to 20 feet away for birdie. So just put this pawn there, the 16 to 20, to show that. Okay, Chris Kirk has a chip shot now. So for the chip shot, we roll the dice, and we take the black D20 and multiply it by 10, and then add the black D10. So we have 157. So we look on his chip shot. So 157 is less than the 205, so it says +1 putt. So his chip shot is basically to a gimme distance, and he can just tap it in, and he gets his par. If he rolled a 15 or less, it would be a fail. He would just counter stroke and take the shot once again from the same spot. +2 putt means just he's on the green, but he has 2 putts to get into the hole. This +1 putt question mark means he's got 1 putt left, and you would use the value of the white D20 to find out how far he was. So in this case, it's 17, so he would have had a 17-foot putt if we rolled in that range. The sand works the same way. The +1 + P is the same thing as a +1 P question mark. So, okay, so Kirk is in the hole with the par, and Scott is a 16 to 20-foot putt for birdie. So here are his ranges here. If you roll again, you're going to be taking just the 2 black dice, multiplying the D20 by 10, and getting a number. So we get 8 and 9, 8 on the 20 and 9 on the 10, so that's 89. So we're 16 to 20 feet away, so 89 falls over the 3-putt range and within the 2-putt range, so it's a 2-putt par. So if you rolled 14 or less, it would have been a 3-putt. If you rolled above 174, in this case, that means the putt is sunk, so he would have got a birdie. Okay, so they both get par in the first hole, so we'll move to the second hole. Okay, Kirk. So we get a black 1 and a white 6. So black 1 is again an F, so way back. And a white 6 is in the middle, so he's F in the middle. And Scott, we get a black 4 and a white 12. And that's C and in the middle. Okay, so kind of show you something here. We have a par 5 here. So to make sure this is in focus before I start talking more. Yeah. Okay, so sorry about that. Okay, so Kirk is in this F section. So this symbol here, the percent symbol, means that that's what club he would use if he's going to lay up. If he decides to go for it, then they use the fairway wood. If you only have the percent symbol in a thing, that means you would have to lay up. But in this one, he has the choice. So you can decide for yourself, yeah, he's going to go for it or not, or you could use the go rating. So Kirk's rating is a 9. So this is on a D20. So let's just roll for him. And if the dice roll is less than or equal to this number, then he goes for it. Otherwise, he's going to lay up. So Kirk is going to lay up. And it's going to lay up, so it's a mid-iron -1. So we roll the black 6. It's a black 6, so it's mid-iron. That becomes a 5. 5 is below, is not above 7, so it's going to be a miss on the layup part. And the white D20 is a 9. So on this one, you look at the layup section. If it was a successful layup down the middle, you would use the white D20 and use this. But since the white D20 is a 9, you just have to look around to see. So 1 to 5 is here, 6 to 10 is here, so 9, and then you would use that number there. So he's in the trees, and yeah, and he's got a long. So he's got a long iron +1 modifier for the next shot. Okay, so for Adam Scott, he was, I believe he was a B. Okay, so he's got a choice to make here. So, or we'll just roll the dice. So his go rating is 13 and roll a 9. So he's going to go for it. So it's a fairway wood +2. So we get 4 and so for approach shots, yeah, you saw that on the last hole. So a black 4 adjusted with the +2 is 6. So that 6 is still below 12. So he's missed the green. The white D20 is a 10. And so we look at that, and 10 is off, is in the off range. So we look at the black D10, which is a 3. And we look at this outer circle here. So 3 is corresponds to short. And then we look at the other D10, and it's a 6. So he's in the fairway, short of the green, and he's going to have a pitching wedge with a +1 modifier for his next shot. Okay, so now since Kirk is going to be hitting out of the trees, we're going to have to add his recovery modifier to the black D20. In this case, this is his recovery modifier. It's a 0, so he doesn't get any added benefit. For instance, so Adam Scott has a +1 recovery modifier, so he's better at playing recovery shots than Chris Kirk, for instance. So, okay, so Kirk is a long iron +1. So the black D20 is an 11, so that's 12. And 12 on a long iron is above 9, so so it's on the green. So in that case, so since he's hitting from the rough or from the trees, i.e. not from the fairway, you take the recovery modifier, which is 0, you add it to the the D20, which is 11, and then you subtract the yellow D10, which is 2. So 11 minus 2 is 9. So basically, it's if he was hitting it from the fairway, it would have been 11. But since he's hitting it from the rough, you subtract it, so it's going to be further from the hole. So it gets into this 9 range. So he's 26 to 35 feet away from the hole for his birdie attempt. Okay, Scott is hitting a pitching wedge from the fairway. And the black D20 is an 11, so that's above the pitching wedge miss range, so he makes it, and the white D20 is a 20, so he is less than 5 feet away for birdie. Beautiful little pitch shot by Scott. Okay, so roll here for Kirk. These little numbers up here, -1, just means that when you're rolling for the putt, if your black D20 is corresponds to this number, then and the number is in brackets, then you're going to be adding one stroke to the score for the hole. So you just finish it out, and then you would add it. If it was a 1 without a bracket, then you would be subtracting a putt from the hole. So just to show you what that means. So he's 21 to 20, or was it 26 to 35 feet away? I think it was. Yeah. And the number is 153, and that's a 2 putt. So Kirk just gets his par, and Scott, he's less than 5 feet away. So all you have to do is roll an 18, higher than an 18 to sink the putt. And he rolls a 21, so he just makes it. So Scott gets a birdie on that hole. Okay, so we go to the third hole. Okay, so Scott is away, and we roll a black 17 and a white 14. So, it's a fairway wood. So even if it's a fairway wood, we still just look at the drive thing, because it's no, actually, sorry, it's a par 3 tee shot. So it's the same procedure as for an approach shot. So it's 17 is above the miss range of the fairway wood, so he's on the green, and the white is 14, so he's 21 to 25 feet away. One thing I should point out is that on some of these holes, like if you're not, like for instance this one is a fairway wood, it says if you get an accuracy roll of 1 or 20, they're considered in the midsection. So if the white is a white D20 is a 1 or a 20, in other words. Okay, Chris Kirk. So we have a black 17 and a white 11. So 17 is above his fairway wood miss range, so he's on the green, and 11 is 26 to 35 feet away. So Kirk will be putting first, and roll a 76, so that's 2 putts. And Scott rolls an 80, and it's also 2 putts, so they both get a par from the hole. I think I'll stop there rather than playing out a whole round. Just wanted to give you an idea. There's strategy options that you could use. Like you can on your drives, you could elect to do a safe drive, so you would use 1 letter grade lower on the distance result. So like an A will become a B, and and if you're using a fairway wood, any white D20 of 1 or 20 is considered in the midsection. And if you're using a long iron, if the white is 1, 2, 19, or 20, that would be in the midsection. So, so on approach shots, so that would be like a long iron from the fairway, or a mid iron from or less from the fairway to the rough. You can choose to gamble. I won't go through the mechanics of that, but you have gamble options and safe options. So you do have some strategy options, and you even have options for putting on the green, aggressive putting and lagging putts. There's also a mechanic for exceptional shots. So if you roll a black D20, a natural D20 on an approach shot, then that's considered an exceptional shot. And what you do is you would add the yellow D10 to the white D20, and that means that it would just sort of push you further down the chart here. So if you rolled an 11 and a 7, a white 11 would be 16 to 20 feet away. But if you rolled a black D20 with that, with a yellow a yellow 7, 11 would become 18, and then there would be 6 to 10 feet away. So that would just how that translates. and there is hole out chance and stuff like that. Yeah, so basically that's it. Yeah, I showed you how to do the layup and how that works. Like I said, it takes about 30 to 40 minutes to play with two golfers. Um, and yeah, I like this game. I say that about all the games I play here, but I really do like this game. I like the fact that I really like the fact that it has the three modes of play: round by round, shot by shot, hole by hole, and shot by shot. So you can you know, choose whatever mode suits the project that you're going to do. So you can play a tournament in a reasonable amount of time, and you could do this with match play. That's how I've been playing it. Well, with the stroke by stroke mode, or you can even do that with the hole by hole mode. Sorry about that. So yeah, so it would work for four balls, like better ball matches or foursomes matches, or alternate shots. That would work because you could do that with the shot by shot mode. Just want to see if there's anything else here. Oh yes, one thing I didn't mention. Notice that it has these sections here at the far left, less than 20 or greater, or less than 0 and greater than 20. That was another strategy thing. You can choose to aim the shot, like say, like even this one where you can see there's a little bit of range on either side of the fairway if you hit it long, say on the third hole, and where you're not necessarily in the rough. You could be in the fairway, like in the extreme left part of the fairway. But you can aim a shot, so you can and that just basically modifies the directional roll, the white d20. So you can say, well, I'm going to aim left on this hole. I'm going to aim, so I'm going to add, 1 or 2 to no, sorry, adding 1 or 2 would aim it right. So it's, if you roll a 15, it would become a 17, and then if you want to aim left, you would subtract the number from the white d20. So if you get a 5, or so. So in any case, what that means is that if you roll a white 1 and you're aiming left by 1, that would become 0, and then you would look over here in this column here to see what happens. So that's where those come in. Yeah, I think that's it. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.